But that's very interesting. Would you be interested in doing a presentation on this? So
No.
we can, and that's how I recruit presenters. So they agreed to do it. And one thing I wanted to point out is, did you know, Solar Club is a great club, but not only is it a U.S. club, it's international, because they're Canadian and they're members. So let's give a big welcome to Brian.
I'm going to talk without that, I think.
Is it getting broadcast?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You might want to do the.
Yeah. So good evening, everybody. It's been a while since we've been at a meeting because we've been doing a lot of traveling this summer. So we're very happy to be back here. So tonight we're going to talk about our trip on the Camino de Santiago, in specifically the Camino Francis, often called the Way of St. James. So here's the agenda for tonight. What is the Camino de Santiago? How many people, obviously, people have heard about the Camino de Santiago. How many people have done it? Anybody? Nobody. Okay, this is good. Actually, this is good. So we're going to talk about why do people embark on the 800-kilometer walk or 500 miles, a little bit of preparation and planning, and then a bunch of slides about our journey. Part one, we did it in September of last year, of 2023. And then the second part, we did it in May and June of 2024. So the first part, we're also going to talk about the Camino Finisterre. And then we're going to do a little bit of questions and answers, which we might leave a lot of time for questions and answers. So we'll see. So what is the Camino de Santiago? Traditionally, it's a Catholic pilgrimage or a walk across Spain, across Europe, if you will, and ends up in Santiago de Compostela. And this is the cathedral where it ends. There's many routes in Europe that lead to Santiago. People used to just walk out the front door and walk to Santiago. How many people do it per year? In 2024, it was estimated that over 450,000 people started their journey to Santiago from all over Europe. Started. That doesn't mean 450,000 people finished. I think, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, the day that we stopped, there was 1,250 people that finished that particular day that we did. Yeah. So it's pretty big. What's wrong? Wrong one. This is kind of a hard slide to see. These are the different routes. So the green one here, pardon my shaking of my hands here, the green one is the Camino Francis. Starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, across the whole northern part of Spain, and there's Santiago. The Norte, which is about 700 kilometers, starts along the Atlantic coast and follows the Atlantic coast all the way to Santiago. You see one down here, here's Portugal. So this is Lisbon in Portugal, up 680 kilometers to there. Sorry, I'm dealing in kilometers. You got to do a little bit of training. This is Europe, they deal in kilometers. I did a little bit up top here. A lot of people start the Portuguese Camino in Porto, which is right here. And it's about 280 kilometers and takes you about 2 weeks to do it. The 680 is about a month. Typically, when you see the Camino Francis up here, 800 kilometers, I put in here 33 to 45 days. If you go by certain books or certain guidebooks, there are 33 stages. So that's walking between 20 and 30 kilometers a day, 15 to 20 miles a day, maybe, I think. And it's pretty tough. I think we took 42 days total to do it. And that's not walking every day. That's taking breaks along the way. So you can see some other ones here, the Via de Plata, all the way up here. That's 1,200 kilometers from Sevilla right here all the way up. So you can see there's many different routes. France, you can also start in France, and there's many routes coming this way as well. So a lot of people do that. We'll start in France. We met a guy who started in Geneva, Switzerland, walked into France, and then walked here, and then came all the way across on the Camino. It was, Christine, you remember? 1,500 kilometers? From Lepew is 1,600. So from Geneva to Lepew is a just incredible journey. So the big thing, why do people do it? Some people say it's a calling. It's called, the Camino's called me to come and walk this 800 kilometer pilgrimage. It's a physical challenge, obviously. You're walking between 15 and 30 kilometers a day. Some people do it for spiritual or religious reasons, because it's a Catholic pilgrimage. At every little town, every major city, there are cathedrals and churches and everything, many places to worship. But not only Catholics. Non-Catholics do it. We saw Muslim people do it. So it's not necessarily a Catholic thing any longer. Connection and reflection. I talk about that because everybody has a different view of what the Camino is and what they feel along the way. Connection with the earth, connection with family members, being by yourself. Your solitude is something that a lot of people like to do and think about their life, where they are now, where they've been, where they're going in the future. And last one, it's a new experience. It's something different that you've never done before. And I put in here, it's not a backpacking or hiking trip. This is different than doing some of the things that we normally do in solar. You're staying in different accommodations at night. You're not carrying everything on your back. And we'll get into a little bit of that later. So again, it's very personal. Talk a little bit about preparation and planning. What are the physical requirements? What time of day? What do I need to pack? What transportation is available? How to get there? How to get around? Accommodation. The big one here is I call it wing it for accommodations. So you go day by day and hope you find a place at the end of the day, or by booking everything from start to finish. I'm the guy at the end here. I have a spreadsheet that is insane that I didn't put in the presentation, but I can share it with anybody who may want it. Talk a little bit about the first aid kit, resources, many guidebooks out there. YouTube is a great resource. Everybody and their dog does YouTube videos about whatever they're doing. So there are many. You can spend hours and hours and hours looking at YouTube videos. The Buen Camino app, there's many apps out there. The Buen Camino app is one that we found was very informative. So it's something to look at. And then I also put my spreadsheet up there. And then we're also going to talk about signs on the route. How do you get around? So the physical requirements, training. Like backpacking, you're training, you're doing things. We go on weekend backpack trips. You go on, Jeff goes on week and 2-week backpack trips. We're not climbing Mount Baker here. But training is very important. Injuries happen all the time. That will prevent you from completing your Camino. So the first step about training is walk more. And daily walks. Every day you walk 3 to 4 miles. Then you increase your distance because every day you're going to walk 15 to 20 miles. So you start walking short distances, day in and day out and day in. And then you gradually increase your distance until you can walk 3 days, 15 to 20 miles a day, walking with a 10 to 15 pound backpack on. Not 30 pounds, but 15 pounds, because that's typically how much you'll be carrying with you. Preparation equals enjoyment. The better you prepare for this, the more you're going to enjoy it. Like any other backpacking trip too. If you can't climb that hill or that mountain up there, you're not going to enjoy it. Going up and going down, going up and going down. You might be able to get up, but you might have a heck of a time getting down. So the more you prepare, the better it's going to be. When to go. This is always a big one. If you like the heat, 40, 42 degree Celsius, 105 Fahrenheit. If you like that heat, go in the summertime, July and August. It'll be quieter there because nobody likes the heat, and it's hot. It's hot in Spain in the summertime. The springtime, April, May, and June, is probably the most popular time, as well as the fall in September, October. The temperatures are very, very comfortable. It's still going to get 80, 85 degrees in May and June at times. This past May, it was around 5 to 7 Celsius. So you're getting, you're in the teens, I think. Sorry, pardon my conversions, but it's, it's cold. You're wearing 3 or 4 layers of clothes. In the springtime, of course, like around here as well, it rains in April and May, so you have to be prepared for that. Same thing, September, October. It rains a lot as you get closer to the coast, to the Atlantic coast. The winter time, here's a picture up here of the winter on the Camino. I don't recommend doing it. A lot of the trails are closed. You cannot go over the Pyrenees, which is the mountain range that goes between Spain and France. You can't do it. So there's other routes. And also in the wintertime, a lot of the albergues and accommodations are closed, right? So they close the end of October, a lot of them. So between November and March, really not that many people do it. Here's an example of what it looks like in the springtime, and you'll see more. In the fall, this is a sunflower field, beautiful sunflower fields. Pardon me, sorry?
I thought that was summer, they're wilting.
No. That's in September. That was taken in September, and here you'll see in the fall as well. Or sorry, that's a springtime. The springtime picture. Yeah. So what do I need to pack? I would travel light. This lady in here took it literally. This was we walked by on the side of the road. I guess she wasn't very comfortable, and she had it later. So this is Christine's pack here. Typically what you're taking, and this is actually a little bit too much. Shoes, trail runners, depending on time of year. Most people use trail runners. Depending on time of year, you might want Gore-Tex trail runners or boots. As you get further at the, in April and late October, you want boots. Backpack, between a 32 to 36 liter backpack, no bigger, because it's just weight that you're carrying, more weight. Basically, 3 shirts, 3 underwear, 3 pairs of socks, fleece, a puffy coat, raincoat or poncho, always a big controversy, sun hat, ball caps, some walking shoes for after your day, so to give your your trail runners a break, flip-flops for when you're taking showers in the albergues, some type of sleeping device, small first aid kit, your electronics, some personal items, towel, and of course your guidebook. And like I say, some people just do 2 days, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, half of this. It just depends on your on how often you want to do laundry. Your typical day. Here's about the budget and a typical day on the Camino is that you get up in the morning, you walk your 15 to 20 miles. You stop at your place. You go for a shower, change out of your walking clothes. You go to the laundry tub. You do your laundry. You hang it up on the clothesline, and then enjoy the rest of the day. Go have some dinner. Go have a drink, whatever. Come back a few hours later. Everything's dried, and you do this day in and day out. Rinse and repeat.
So what did you do for lunch on your 15, 20 miles?
Well, for lunch, there's every 3 to 5 kilometers, there are small towns. You pass through little towns every single day, or every day you pass through. So typically people will have 2 breakfasts. They'll get up in the morning, have something quick, get on their way, stop 5 kilometers down the road, nice little cafe, have a coffee, a tortilla, have something to eat, then continue on, and same thing. So you're not out in the wilderness at all. You're passing through little villages all the time. There's lots to eat. You'll see here in a minute about the food. A little bit about the budget. Obviously, you have to get to Europe someplace. In Europe, the transportation, trains, buses, and taxis. Trains are everywhere, very plentiful. The buses are excellent too. Pretty much every small town, you can at least get a bus if you need to. Getting to your starting point is through trains and buses. Taxis, if for every reason you need to take a taxi someplace, they are incredibly expensive. It's like if you want to go 10 miles down the road, it's going to cost you $40 or $50. Incredible. Accommodations, for your budget, 15 euros is going to get you a bed in a dormitory. 30 to 50 euros, you're going to get a room with 2 beds. Like for us, Sharon, we would get a room with 2 beds, and it'd be between 30 and 50 euros. Food, 25 to 30 euros per person per day, typically is a good budget point. So if you're going for 40 days, you can do the quick math, and it's fairly inexpensive, but it's not dirt cheap. It'd be hard to get less than $15 and 25 to $30, 30 euros a day. The euros to US conversion, I think, is right around $1.10, I think. It's pretty close. It's almost the same. For us Canadians, it was like $1.47 to $1.55. So it was a little bit more to a euro. Transportation, a little bit about this. How do you get to your starting point? So coming from the US or Canada, Detroit, obviously, leaving from Detroit here, there's many flights going to Paris, Madrid, Lisbon. Those are the 3 primary spots where you would go. You could also go to Barcelona, is a little bit farther away, but that's about it. That's kind of where you want to start. And from those points, then you take the bullet train from Paris over to Bayonne, and then a smaller train down to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, the starting point. Obviously flying, there's a nice little Delta picture for us up here. And then the buses. The bus system in Spain is incredible. No problems. So talk about what cities to fly into. Departing from Santiago. Once you're finished your whole Camino, getting out of San Diego back to where you need to fly out of, again, train or bus. 3 or 4 times a day, easy to get back to where you need to go. Most flights from our area are night flights to Europe. I highly recommend that because once you get to, say, Paris, you're going to arrive first thing in the morning, or Madrid or Lisbon, you're going to arrive first thing in the morning. You still have a full day excursion to get to your starting point, wherever it may be along the route. So hopefully you can sleep on the airplane flying over. But even if you don't, you got to get into the routine, and it's much better for your body to take night flights to Europe. Baggage transport. This is a big one. And you'll see a little bit as we go along, you'll see people. Here's an example of a lady here with her backpack. That is actually a little bit too big. That's probably about a 45-liter pack, I think. Baggage transport. You don't have to carry on the Camino your entire backpack. They have baggage transport from place to place to place to place. So you can do your Camino just with a day pack, with your water bottles, some snacks, your rain gear in case if it's going to rain that day, so on. And you can have your bag, another IKEA bag if you want, or a suitcase, or another backpack or whatever, and you can ship that from place to place. So there's companies all across Spain that will take your bags for €6 per day, which is not too bad, $10, $6, sorry, $6 for you guys, 10 Canadian for me. But it kind of relieves that stress of carrying 15 pounds on your back if you can't do it. If you happen to get injured, you can put your bag along. The only problem with that is you have to know where you're staying that next night. You can't wing it. You have to have a booked accommodation that next night, or you can't take advantage of the baggage transport. So a couple slides here about different accommodations. Goes from hostels, albergues, hotels, luxury hotels, which are called paradors in Spain. And this also depends on what your budget. The hostels, hotels, or albergues are, like I said, $15 for a bed. Some albergues, like this one here, down below, has room. This particular room had 3 beds in it, a little lounge area, and your shower and everything. So this is a private room. This was 50 euros. The luxury hotels, paradors, there's no pictures of those because we didn't stay in them. They're 275 euros plus to stay one night in that. If you watch the movie The Way, the Martin Sheen movie, they stayed at the Parador in Leon, and I have a picture of it, the outside. And it was like, we looked at the price, I think it was 375 euros to stay there for one night. Incredible, but there's a picture of the outside of it here. Resources, booking ahead or not booking ahead. So I talked a little bit about the transport. Because there's 450,000 people starting this every day, and most of them, every year, most people start from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. Camino Francis is the most popular one. So they start from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. It is imperative on this journey that you book 4 to 5 days ahead. You have to have that first section booked or you will not find a room. And you book as soon as you're ready to said, I'm going on the Camino, you map it out and you book the first 5 days. We met somebody who day one, she never had a book place. She had to continue walking. The next town was 5 kilometers away, 3 miles away. There's nothing there. She had to keep walking. She walked over 35 miles that day to be able to find a place to sleep. You do not want to do that. You don't want to do that. We met another lady who actually walked 48 kilometers, which again is, it's long flipping way. It's crazy. So the resources, booking.com is great. I book using booking.com about 75% of all of our accommodations. Only Pilgrims is another one. Some places, some albergues and places only use, say, Only Pilgrims. So you have to be familiar with that. The Buen Camino app, fabulous app, has all your accommodations listed. You can go in there, phone numbers. WhatsApp is used quite a bit over there now to be able to communicate with the different places. Put in a note here about speaking Spanish. If you are calling ahead to try and find a place, and a lot of people do that, where you'll book 2 or 3 days ahead, which is pretty common and something that I recommend you should do. But if you don't speak Spanish, that can be very difficult. So even though you have Google Translate and using all of these different sources, there are a lot of people that don't speak English. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. So learning a little bit of Spanish is key phrases, key words, is very helpful. And it's not that hard. All the guidebooks have, here's the 20 different phrases you'll use. So here's a bunch of a little bit more accommodations, different things that you'll see. This over here was an old church This is about, I don't know, 20 feet wide. That's it. Little church at the end of this side, bunk beds in the back. This place here is an incredible experience. There's no electricity here. The washrooms are out back where there's a little outhouse out the back. Great meal. Everybody who stays there, I think there's only 12 beds. You make your own meal. Everybody's in community. You make the meal, you clean up, you have a little community discussion, I guess, if you will, and just fabulous. This one down here, this is a private room, typical private room. You'll notice there's 2 beds. This is very common in Europe. Everybody gets their own bed. I highly recommend it. It's good. It's nice living in your own bed. Yeah. This place, this is a little courtyard and a beautiful little hole in the wall. It's just fabulous place. Little courtyard, you sit out. And this is an example of a little apartment that we had. There's a bed in the back. That's a double bed, or queen size bed, I guess it is. So, and then you got a little washroom in back here, little thing. This is a little kitchen here. And this was 35 euros. Beautiful little place. So here is what dormitories look like. So the first night when you arrive in Rossendvallis, you're going to stay in this massive old monastery that has 3 floors, and each floor has about 100 beds, 100 cubicles. There's 4 beds in this little cubicle, and each one has a little locker in behind, put your stuff. The one thing you hear about life on the Camino and staying in dormitories, which is like this, or like this one, this is a 6-bed dormitory, is you need white noise, you need earplugs, because you have a cacophony of snoring. So I was on the top bunk here, and the guy right next to me on the other side, there's no walls here. This is just, it's about this high, just a little 2 foot with your bunk bed. And this guy snored. He snored so loud, and I couldn't sleep. And it's like I bugged Christine for my earplugs because I didn't put them in. So she's rustling around trying to finally get those. And man, I felt like just taking my pillow and going whack, But I did it. But it's loud. It's loud. We stayed in another place where there was probably 30 people in a room, and it was loud. It was loud. You can see. So if you don't like snoring, if you have a hard time sleeping, these places here are really nice, right? You just have to put up with your significant other if he or she snores, but one person's better than 30 or 40. But so this is a kind of an example. This is one. Here's a kind of cool little one that, you have a little cubby hole here with a little curtain and everything. It's kind of nice. And this one here was a six-person room. And this year you had your own shower, separate shower room, separate bathroom, and you're enclosed. So there's 6 people in the room. There was, at this place, there's some with 4, some with private rooms, just a little bit of everything. So that's basically the different accommodations. And again, the Parador, don't have a picture of that. It's in the movie. First aid in emergencies, very, very important. The first aid kit, this is our first aid kit. It grew quite a bit. We started off, I think, with a few Band-Aids, and that was it. And then it grew into knee braces, knee sleeve, tape. This is tape, gauze, scissors, lamb's wool, there's polysporin, all kinds of different stuff here. Vaseline, foot care, more tape. It's just, and the point I'm trying to make with this one is that injuries happen. Your feet walking that many miles every single day take a toll. If you're not used to it, if you don't have good shoes, good walking shoes, proper insoles, so on, your feet take a beating. Tying your shoes properly is so that your feet don't slip going downhill. We know this from hiking too, but this is your feet take a beating. Pharmacies, and I look at this because we didn't start out this way, but then you have pharmacy. They are everywhere. Every small town has a pharmacy that you can buy stuff at. And Google Translate comes in handy here too. Knowing some of this, how to ask for this in Spanish. It's pretty easy, but it's all on the shelf. You can make do without Spanish. But pharmacies, this is the symbol, the big green symbol. This is an example. Whenever possible, this was great. The water there was coming off the mountains is extremely cold. Dip your feet in the water. Man, does that ever feel good. This poor lady here fell down on this gravel road, and they needed to call the Alert Cops app. You put that, and if you ever get in trouble, fall down, you get it on your phone. It's like dial 911. They have, in Spain, they have people, or they call them Camino police, which if there's any emergencies as far as your safety or whatever, you contact these guys right here and they're there. This is emergency vehicle. So this is, they came, picked her up and took her down to the hospital, which is about 30 miles away to the hospital. But if something ever happens, there's lots of people around. You're not walking in solitude. There's always people around to help, and people are marvelous. The Camino family, there's a saying called the Camino provides, which if you have an injury, there's always somebody around that are going to help you and get you where you need to go. So very important. I don't think I need to say any more about first aid. Signs on the road. Getting lost on the Camino is almost impossible. It does happen, and we almost did, but because we went, there's in the book, you'll see many books, they'll say this is the main route, and then they have alternative routes, which take you around in different places. So these are all the kind of different signs that you'll see. The shell and the yellow arrow are the big things, and you just follow along, and they are everywhere. They're not always on the road. They're not always right beside you. You look up, and they're there. But these are all the different ones. This one here is different signs along the way that will show you what your route is going to be like today with elevation, and that's it. Food. Some people just go for the food. If you plan on losing any weight on the Camino, likely won't happen because you're eating too much. This is incredible. Go back. Paellas, tortilla, salads are marvelous. You can get hamburgers and fries. This is a food group. Absolutely every day. That's a food group. This is, and chips. You gotta have a bag of chips with your beer. This is out in the middle of nowhere. This is a Canadian who did the Camino years ago, and him and his wife came back and opened up a food truck out in the middle of nowhere. And as you can see, it's very popular. Lots of people.
But the one thing,
Oh, sorry.
because they couldn't sell the stuff, so it's donativo. You give money for.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
They couldn't sell because they're not.
Because they're not Spanish citizens, right? That's right. Yeah. So they just made enough to be able to, provide the service. Yeah, that's right. Good point. Good point. This one up here, this is good. Look at the size of this sandwich. It's as big as her head. It's huge. It's huge. And and I ordered one too. We didn't know they were that big. These can be very hot. Those peppers can be really, really hot. This is anybody know what that is? Popo, Spanish for octopus. We have a video of Christine trying this. I didn't put it in here. I should have. It was really good. It's a good video. This is incredible. In this town, this is in Milady. This is where everybody gets it. Yeah, they just chop it up, throw some, what's, yeah, olive oil, and that's it.
How's it prepared? You say deep fried?
Boiled. In deep boiled in bats, big jar, like things of water like that. Yeah. It's incredible. It's disgusting. It's really bad.
Unless you grew up on it, then.
Yeah, exactly. But the restaurant's packed. It's just packed full of people going there. But you got to try it. You're there, you got to try it. It's a delicacy there.
Did you say it was deep fried or it was boiled?
No, boiled. It's boiled in water. Yeah, in water. Yeah, just boiled in water.
How much did it cost?
It was 11 euros from the milk thing,
Yeah.
just that. So
It's not that bad.
it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have beer. You have beer with it. Yeah. You need something to wash it down.
What about water? Did you get water?
Yeah. Water. Okay. Oh, I didn't put a picture of that. Okay. When you order food, you get at every meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Well, maybe not breakfast, but lunch and dinner. On the menu, they have the menu of the day. So it's and a lot of them are said with you. But for drink, you get wine or water that comes with your meal. So if Christine and I don't drink very much, so we would order water. They give you a 1.5 liter bottle of water. One. If you order wine, I'd order wine. I get a bottle of wine. Christine orders hers. She orders water. She gets a bottle of water. So it's like, you might as well get the wine, right? So we started drinking a little bit of wine. We never drank wine. So we started drinking some wine while we were there. And it's like, yeah. And then people would say, because we'd each have a little glass, and people would go, are you leaving your wine there? It's like, well, yeah, do you want it? Here, you can have it. But it was, so that's the thing, wine. Go ahead.
At the restaurants that went to like this, when would they serve the menu of the day?
Timing is different. So typically most people, the restaurants close at about 2:30. And in Spain, most people eat their big meals between 12 and 2:30. Then the restaurants are closed from 2:30 or 3 o'clock at the latest till 7:30 at night. Then they open back up again at night. So for us in North America, we're not used to those hours. So you do have to adjust a little bit. But what we did most of the time, we had our big meal at lunchtime. After you're walking, from 8 in the morning till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. You go have your big meal then, and then you might have something small, at 7:30 at night. But yeah, we found that a lot talking to people from North America who found like they had a hard time adjusting to the hours of food. But I didn't find it too bad. I didn't find it really bad at all. But that's right. Yeah, you would have breakfast first thing in the morning. Some places would serve breakfast, a little continental breakfast, and then after, you walk for an hour and a half, and then you stop and have a real breakfast. And then, you're walking again, and then you have, a big meal, early afternoon.
But real breakfast is not bacon and egg like you would have.
No, it's like this. It's tortillas, which are marvelous, and pastries. Yeah. And these things fill you up, no problem. No problem. Yeah. I got to get moving here. I'm looking at the time here. So how do you do the Camino? Walking, biking, or horseback? You can do, not all sections you can do horseback. This couple was very inventive. They made this thing and put their backpacks on the back. These guys are biking. They came zooming down this hill. That was incredible. And of course, walking. That's how you can do it. So now our Camino Frances, this is going to go pretty quick. So this is just pictures of what you'll see along the way. First part, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port to Lyon, 400 kilometers, 23 days. This is your passport that you get stamped every single day. You have to do this. to be able to get your Compostela at the end, saying that you've walked the Camino. Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, beautiful little town where you start in France. The Pyrenees, just gorgeous mountains. This is the Albergue Orison, which is your first little town that you come to once you're climbing the mountains. This is where people mostly get hurt. There is nowhere to stop except for this place, and one other place along the road. It's 28 kilometers, 28 to 30 kilometers, 15 to 20 miles. It's up, 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 up. You're walking for 4 hours uphill. And then you're walking for 4 hours downhill. It's a very, very difficult route. Things you'll see along the way: horses, mountains, sheep. Christine loves the sheep. This is now starting your second day. This is a famous sign. You'll see a lot of pictures of this. Santiago, 790 kilometers. This one is Roman bridges everywhere. So go back into history, and you find that this whole area was part of the Roman Empire. And this is day 2. This is the day that was absolutely treacherous for some people. Many people got hurt here. So it was raining. This is very slippery. This is a road that somebody made, and it's stone, very slippery. And it rained and rained and rained and rained. So this is the trail you're walking on. This is it. And then it gets worse. So this now is, this here, you see, this is all rock, jagged rock the whole time. Many people fell. Many people hurt themselves, bleeding, you name it. Had to stop at the end had to stop after this day and go home because they fell and hurt themselves. Incredible. This was the worst day we had. Then we come to the beautiful city of Pamplona. So now you're into this 4 days. So Pamplona is a walled city. This is the gate leading into it. And this is a working drawbridge, a gate leading into the city. This is what the typical street, very narrow, shops all along the bottom. And this was taken out of our hotel room. Here we stayed in the hotel for a couple days. And then you start climbing again. So 700-800 meters high. And this is famous. If you watch the movie The Way, you'll see this. This is where the way of the wind crosses the way of the stars. It's at the top of the mountain, and it's just beautiful, beautiful place. This is a Fuente de Vino. So this is put on by a winery, and you stop here, you fill up your little shell that you have, and you have a drink of wine. You get the wine right out here, right out of a tap. They have one for water and one for wine. So most people go for the one for the wine. It's red wine. And this is a picture of the grapes. You walk through in the province of Roja, you walk through vineyards, endless vineyards. And in September is when they look like that. It's beautiful. So now a few days later, now you're in Logroño. One of the most famous things there is the church, big cathedral. This is a Michelangelo painting that he did. It's hard to tell in here because of the glass that's in front of it. Obviously, they don't want anybody to see it. Just beautiful, beautiful church. Watch out for this guy. Right? Anybody know what this is? A little bit different, right? That's a confessional. Different than what we have, right? Because here you'd kneel right here on the sides. You're not enclosed. You're out in the open in these confessionals, and the priest is inside. Christine, you want to talk about that guy?
He was sleeping, but I thought it was like a wax statue.
For tourists.
I'm about to take a picture of him and take my cell phone, and then he wakes up and I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then
If he responds, no, I'm not that.
I had the giggle because I just swear in church. And, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Camino went downhill after that. Like it was. So here's some of the pictures inside the cathedral. In the major cities, there's large cathedrals in all the major cities. So this is a photo of what the altar looks like. It's incredible. It's incredible. The size of these is so much different than here. I have not seen a church here in North America that looks like this.
Well, when was this built, though? Right.
Well, yeah, 13th to the 17th century.
Right. And
Yeah. 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 So this, I can't remember where this was, but this is somebody did a stained glass of showing a pilgrim and sharing the Templar's cross, the shell that identifies you as a pilgrim. It's just beautiful, small little church in one of the villages we were in. This one here, Santo Domingo, he is one of the famous guys who kind of started the Camino way back when, 1200 years ago, and did a lot for the pilgrims, building churches and hospitals and lodging and so on. So this is a parade. Many towns have parades all the time. It's just constant parades and giving thanks to some of the saints and so on. It's if you're lucky enough to see it, to see one, it's pretty amazing. Here's some pictures of what you see along the road in September: the fields, sunflowers, and here is just kind of how vast it is. On a foggy day, up at the top of the mountain, as we climbed for, I think, 2.5 hours this day, we came upon this cross. And I just had to take that photo. It's kind of amazing. This is going into the large city of Burgos. Along the way, there is lots of places to sit, to have lunch. And this was a gorgeous little place. Sat there, had our lunch, and so on. For lunch, what we did for lunch most of the time was we bought our own. And bought our own the day before at a little confectionery, and then sat and did a little picnic. Burgos, massive cathedral in Burgos, must see to go in there. And before Burgos, you come up to UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this is kind of interesting because this is the earliest human remains ever found in Europe were discovered in this place. So they have a whole museum and everything there. They have a smaller museum in Burgos to visit, and they're still digging, and they found stuff that dates back to 1.5 million years ago in this area. Here is what the cathedral in Burgos looks like. This is just massive place. This is the choir loft. It's where the choir sits. The Meseta. So this is between Burgos and Leon, and a lot of people don't like this. A lot of people will take bikes here. They will rent bikes in Burgos and bike all the way to Leon. I loved it. It's just endless fields, rolling hills. This is an old church that is fallen into disrepair. There's actually a little albergue there with no lights, no electricity, nothing there. Beautiful, beautiful place. Right here's where we walk, right here, right through it. See a lot of murals on the way. There's a couple others coming up here too. This is the typical rest spot during this time period. You're sitting on the sitting in the fields just off the path, having something to eat. This is the couple that we met from Colorado that we're still in contact with. And this is Leon. So now you're in Leon. Again, beautiful, gorgeous cathedral. Lots of architecture in the city. This apparently has the most stained glass windows in all of the cathedrals in Spain.
Was the previous picture an aqueduct?
That is not. I don't think so.
Canal?
This was a canal. Yeah.
Did it lead to an aqueduct? I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I know.
I put that there because you can actually, if you don't want to walk, you can take a boat along here. You grab the boat right there and it takes you to the next town, about 15 kilometers. Yeah, this is a lock here to go down. Yeah. So Leon. So our next journey, so that was the end. So September 2023, 23 days to get from the start to Leon. And so we came home after that, and we went back again in May, and we walked the rest of it, 425 kilometers, took us 33 days. So these are some of the pictures that you'll see along the way. Springtime in Spain, lots of flowers. These are poppies up here, endless fields of poppies. This is a really cool place. In the first weekend in June, they have jousting competition and everything along here, and it's really neat. We missed it by a couple days. We stayed at this Albergue San Miguel, and all the paintings that you see up there, they have an easel in the front where anybody that comes along, they have an easel, paint whatever you want, it goes up on the walls. The whole entire albergue was covered in those pictures, or in those paintings. Storks, very popular in the spring, flying around everywhere. Just look up, you see them on all the abandoned churches and stuff like that. Astorga, another gorgeous place. This is Gaudi's castle, I guess, something that he did. And the provincial leader, or whatever you want to call him, lived in here too. This is Cruz de Ferro. So a lot of people have heard about the Cruz de Ferro from the movie. This is where you would keep your rock. One of the symbols is you bring a rock with you when you start, and that's carrying all your burdens are in this, symbolized by this rock. And when you reach the Cruz de Ferro, you take your rock and you put it at the base of the cross, and you reflect, and you get rid of all your burdens that you've been carrying with you up until this point in your life. And then you continue. So this was a very weird day because it was foggy. And this picture here, when we were there, we got about 50 pictures of this. The sun was just coming up and it was foggy. And this, to me, is just incredible. It's like the light of God is on the end of their staff, kind of. So it's pretty cool. The next big town that you come to is Ponferrada, and this is a Templars castle. So if you know anything about the Templars in Spain, they were kind of the police of the Camino. They looked after the pilgrims to make sure that nobody got killed or robbed or whatever. And this castle was built like any other fortification so you could see your enemies coming at you, right? And so this is this huge castle. You can go through there on Wednesdays. It's free for pilgrims, but you can take the tour, and we've got 100 pictures of those things. This is kind of what you're seeing on the way to Ponferrada, going through the mountains. Okay, a little trivia. Does anybody know what this is right here? This is a door. This is a bottle of water. Anybody know what? Take a guess why that bottle of water is sitting at the door.
So if you're looking at it and it turns into wine.
Close. Almost. No, that's not it. No. You can also find these. I don't have a picture. If there's a car on the street, you'll find one by each tire of the car. It's a hint. Keeps the dogs from peeing on your front door or on your car. You put a bottle of water there. Yeah. Don't know. We saw this all the time. We were asking everyone, what's this all about? And that's what it is. To keep the dogs from peeing on your front step. Okay, anybody know what this is? Any guesses on that one? I'm running out of time here. Any guesses on that one? No? This is the same purpose as that. To hold grain. To keep grain off the ground, to keep the animals away. Yeah. Okay, Osabrero, welcome to Galicia. So this is the final province leading to Santiago. So you're in the mountains. Mountains. This is kind of one of the high points in Galicia. Again, this is looking at the top of the mountain. Just beautiful. This is what you'll see on the way. Horses, cows. Try not to get run over by the cows. They use the same path as you do. So at some point you're, dodging all the stuff on the ground too. Yeah. And it smells. It smells. This is an 800-year-old chestnut tree we came across. These are Roman bridges again. All over Spain you'll see those. These, the big joke here is these have been around for 1,000 years. And yet we can't keep a bridge that lasts more than 50 years over here. Something's wrong with the engineering. This is a sidetrack going to Monasterio de Samos, just before you get to Syria. One of the largest and oldest monasteries in the Western world, founded in the 7th century. Beautiful inside. We did a little tour, all in Spanish. We couldn't understand a flipping word the guy was saying. But it was incredible inside. It was incredible. Well worth it. You can actually stay in the monastery, or they also have other places around it. But it's apparent, we talked to a guy that stayed in there. It was cold. It was really cold and damp. Welcome to Sardi, the last 100 kilometers. This is interesting. The last 100 kilometers on the Camino is nothing like the first 700 kilometers you've just experienced. The reason being is, in order to get your little certificate, little piece of paper that says, I walked the Camino, you have to walk at least 100 kilometers. So the tourists start in Sarria, right? So here's a picture of some of the crowds. Crowded. How to avoid it and get this? You kind of start a little bit later from where you are. Don't stop at the normal places. Stop between some of the other places.
But also the thing you mentioned, in the spring, there's a lot of students.
Yeah.
University and high school students walking the Camino, so that's why it's really, really busy.
It's very busy.
Like I really prefer the fall to the spring.
Yeah. So now we're getting here to Santiago. This is the final last little stretch. Once you get to this point, you say, man, I finally made it. Well, you still got 3 miles to go to get to the church. Yeah. And this is the cathedral. So this is where everybody meets, at the cathedral. And you go in. The Pilgrim's Mass starts at noon every day. You have to go and see that. Now, I'm going to mess up this word here. The Buta from Marrow. This is this thing. If you watch the movie The Way, has everybody seen the movie The Way? Have you seen it? So if you watch the movie The Way, this is very special. So they put incense in here, and way back when all the pilgrims would come, they would stay up on top here, way up here. This is where the rooms were. And a lot of the pilgrims had disease. They were smelling. They've been walking for 40 days. They smell. So this thing was used to swing back and forth. It swings high up in the thing with incense to kill disease, to kill the smell and so on of the pilgrims. So today, nobody stays in the church and so on, but it's a symbol of the pilgrims. So they have a Pilgrim's Mass every day. There's over 1,000 people in this church every single day at noon. Like I said before, 1,250 people the day that we finished that day, and probably more too. So it's beautiful. In behind here, so this is where the tomb of St. James is, behind the altar, down below in the altar. So you can walk back through there, go down and walk past the tomb of St. James. So it's incredible. That's all I can say. I don't know. Here's what the complete passport looks like. So in the beginning, I had one thing here. There's two sides to this. So every single day you get a stamp from the place where you've been. And this one is our small one for the Camino de Finisterre. And that is the end of the Camino de Santiago. So, but I'm not done yet. Because now you got another 87 kilometers to go to reach the coast. So this is an add-on. This is the Camino Finisterre. So after walking from Sarrio, that last 100 kilometers where I said was so crowded, now you're back into peacefulness and walking to the coast. So this is a few things that you'll see along the way. This is where you kind of stop and have bus stop where we stopped and said, oh, let's have lunch. We need a break. Pictures of the mountains again. This is your first sight of the Atlantic Ocean. So now we've walked from France across the entire country of Spain, and the first glimpse of the ocean. And here we're just sitting, watching, looking. And then you continue walking along the coast until you reach Finisterre. And this is what you look out, straight west to North America across the Atlantic Ocean. And that's the end. And this is the mile marker 0. So this is actually the 0. And then we have this is your Compostela that you get in Santiago, and this is the symbol of that you are a pilgrim. So you put this on your backpack because some places you can only get in if you're a pilgrim into some of the churches and some of the stuff. Yeah.
Is that a real shell or a replica?
It's a real shell. It's a real shell. And you can get those right the first day when you can grab your thing. Okay, questions? That's what we drank the wine out of, that little shell.
So did
Yeah.
you guys bring any more luggage than that?
That's it.
That is, you didn't like say, oh, we're going to stay an extra week. We're bringing a backpack for the hot springs or something.
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
Were there any hot springs?
No, not to my knowledge.
No hot springs.
Well, we did, yeah. When we were, after we finished, we went to, well, the first time in September, we went to Madrid and stayed in Madrid for 3 days.
But you only had what you wore on the trail?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's fine. You're washing, like I said, you're washing every day or every second day or every third day, whatever. Yeah, it's hiking stuff, but nobody cares. Everybody's,
So someone online wanted to know how many days of rain did you have, and did you prefer ponchos over rain jackets, and why?
great question. We had, when we walked in September, we had 2 days of rain. That second day, and then it was beautiful the entire time. In May, it was great until we got to Santiago. The last 2 days, 1 day. Yeah, it was a drizzle. Yeah.
A little bit and it cleared, but the last day it rained the whole time.
It rained the whole day. But it wasn't hard rain. Yeah, it was just gloomy and not too bad. Yeah. Poncho. We met a lot of people. That's a big question. Poncho or raincoat? Poncho, I found, was so much your especially when it's hot. The poncho I found was a lot easier to work with. Now, many ponchos, mine is different. Mine has the sleeves on this and then the big poncho. So my arms get a little wet if you don't wear a long sleeve shirt. If you wear short sleeves, you're going to get just with the condensation, right? But Christine's is more open, so she had a little bit more breathing.
How did you choose which route you were going to take?
Well, I think 2 reasons. The Camino Francis, because we watched the movie The Way, that was kind of number 1. As we were researching it, that I found for our first one was probably, I think, not the easiest, but I think one that you can plan it, you know where you're staying, that kind of stuff. The Norte, which is along the Atlantic coast, is very, very difficult. So given our age, given our health conditions, so on, that one is very, very difficult. It's very up and down in the mountains.
And the longer days.
Longer days.
We can, like when we did the second half, from Lyon. We did shorter days.
Yeah.
with my knee, and it was perfect. Didn't have one blister for the second part at all. And the first part, I have blisters on the first day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, we are. We're thinking about it. We'd like to do the Portuguese. I think is the next one, probably from Lisbon up to Santiago, which is one that I'd like to do. The Norte, I don't think Denise can do it. So the Portuguese, there's two. There's a coastal route which follows the Atlantic Ocean. Then there's an inland route, and then there's a couple other spiritual. They call it spiritual route, and different alternatives. But that one looks fabulous, and people we've talked to that we know have done it. Very, very nice. Yeah. So I think that's the one. We may end up going to Japan next October to do the Camino in Japan. There's one there, and these are the only two, the Camino de Santiago, Camino Francis, and the one Camino Kodo in Japan are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And so you can get kind of the dual pilgrim kind of certificate, which is pretty cool.
Isn't there one that starts in Rome?
You can start, it's not this one though, but there's one that goes to Rome. Yeah, I've heard of that one. And then there's a new one, I think but it's not part of this. That's in Italy, right? Yeah. Yes.
Do you have any issues with the certificates on your trekking poles with the international travel?
Good question. Hiking poles, we did not take our hiking poles with us. We bought poles when we were over there. We've heard some people have taken their poles as long as with carry-on baggage. You can check your poles, no problem. But carry-on, it's hit and miss. Some people have had, because you can collapse them, and they say, if you look at all the websites from the airlines, they say no. So you're taking a chance. You can check them. But the idea of taking a 36-liter pack and below is that you will not get stopped by the airline, even though the 36 pack is 22.5 inches, which is 1 inch higher than what you're allowed. You're only allowed 21, I think. And those are 22.5. So yeah. Yeah, with carry-on. Yeah. To buy poles over there, as soon as you arrive in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, the Pilgrim store is right there. They got hundreds of them. You go in and buy them. Those there, I think, were 75 euros a piece. They're expensive. They're super poles. They're really good.
Did you bring them back home?
We did bring them back home. Yeah, I checked the bag on the way back home.
Oh, you didn't care.
Yeah, we didn't care, so we checked it.
It's not to go there, go there.
Yeah. So we did check. What we did take though is IKEA. The blue IKEA bags. They're about this big. That backpack, my backpack is bigger than Christine's. It fits perfectly in there, just perfectly. And so you stuff it in, and it's got a zip. Yeah, it's the zipper one. Yeah, fits perfectly. And on our on the first trip after Christine got hurt her knee, we started sending her stuff along, and that little bag came in really, really handy, really handy. And the second trip, we took it and did the same thing. We shipped bag, and it worked perfectly. But I booked every single day, so I knew we were staying every single day. Which, if you're winging it, you can't really do that. Sorry, we're going late. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yeah.
And the stamps, so is it like every city is a stamp? You said, so who stamped it?
So this was at the place that you stayed, at the accommodation, was where we got the stamp. But you can get them, any like bars have them, restaurants have them, churches have them. So you get it done. You have to have one every single day.
Is it the same one in the city? Or does every establishment like have their own?
Yep. Every establishment has their own unique stamp.
So everyone's kind of different.
Yeah, they're all different. And there was also a guy along the route that he, with ink and different colored ink, he had a little marker and he would do it in ink. So it looks really cool. We forgot to bring them. We meant to bring it to show people, but we forgot to bring.
We have time for one more question. Anybody?
So this was a pilgrimage.
Mhm.
Do you have something you want to share that came out of that? Spiritually or?
Well, I think for me, I think our thing was is different. For me, I enjoyed meeting people from all over the world. I think that was something that I really enjoyed, talking to and meeting with people and kind of seeing, well, what brought you here, for us, one of the reasons why we did this is, we went to Peru and did the Inca Trail. We went to, did the Tour de Mont Blanc, in France. And this was kind of, this is cool. Like, I think this is pretty neat, so it's something we looked into to do. At the very end of it, I think seeing all the churches, I think the best, not the big cathedral, although it's beautiful. To me, it's a little over the top. I could really get into some really philosophical things about the church and so on and so forth. But I found the best moment, religious moment, was in this small little church that had to have been maybe the size of this little section. And there's a little tiny nun. You walked in and she was 4 foot tall. And this little nun was in there and she welcomed you. And she put a little medallion around your neck and put her hands right here and said a little prayer. And my God, that stuck with me. It was incredible. So I don't know. Everybody's different.
Thank you, John.
Yep.